Olmo, Pedro Porro! It's happening for Spain!
Spain didn't just beat France. They completely embarrassed them in front of the whole world. A shocking 2-0 victory in the World Cup semifinal turned into one of the biggest surprises of the tournament. Almost nobody expected this to happen. France came in as the favorites, the team everyone believed couldn't be stopped. With stars like Mbappe, Dembélé, Olise, and Bakulé leading the attack, many expected them to cruise through. Instead, Spain stepped onto the pitch as the underdogs and walked away, making France look confused, frustrated, and completely outplayed. This wasn't simply a win, it was a football lesson. Spain showed one harsh reality. No matter how many superstar names you have, smart tactics, teamwork, and discipline can shut everything down. They picked France apart from the first whistle. But before looking at how Spain pulled this off, it's important to remember what France had built.
Allowed to go and feed it through for Bradley Barker
During the tournament. They had been scoring goals for fun, turning comfortable wins into dominant 4-goal performances. Every attack looked dangerous. Mbappe was playing at an incredible level, constantly putting defenders under pressure. Olise kept creating brilliant chances with passes that seemed impossible to spot, while the midfield controlled games and kept producing opportunity after opportunity. Every match France played looked like a showcase of attacking football. They created chances with confidence, moved the ball quickly, and made breaking through defenses look easy. It felt like they had an answer for every challenge. Then there was the bench, and people couldn't stop talking about it. Désiré Doué was ready to come on at any moment. Rayan Cherki was waiting to bring fresh creativity. Joan Mateta offered strength and a physical presence up front. This wasn't just a deep squad. It gave France quality options whenever they needed a change. Meanwhile, Spain stayed completely under the radar. They were organized, disciplined, and got the job done without grabbing many headlines. They controlled possession and managed games well, but they weren't blowing teams away like they had at the Euros. Lamine Yamal had been fairly quiet, and while the midfield did its job well, it wasn't getting much attention or producing many flashy moments. Going into the semifinal, almost everyone believed the story had already been written. France's incredible individual talent was expected to be too much for Spain to handle. Many people thought Spain's defensive shape would eventually crack under the pressure.
Dembélé has bent in a brilliant goal!
On paper, it seemed like the obvious outcome. And after all, when you've got players like Mbappe, Olise, Dembélé, and Barcola all on the same pitch, you expect someone to produce a game-changing moment. The common belief was that the gap in individual quality was simply too big, and that no amount of organization could keep that much attacking power under control. But Luis de la Fuente saw things differently. He wasn't loud or overconfident. Instead, he trusted his plan and believed his system would stand up to the challenge. That quiet confidence spread through the entire squad. At this level, belief can make all the difference, and a well-drilled team with strong structure can compete with even the biggest stars. Discipline played a much bigger role than most people expected. Spain's biggest strength wasn't just what they could do with the ball, it was the fact they completely ignored all the outside noise. They didn't care that almost everyone had predicted a France victory. They arrived with one goal in mind, and they trusted their plan from start to finish. From the opening whistle, the difference was obvious. Spain's possession wasn't slow or cautious. They weren't sitting deep, waiting for one lucky counterattack. Instead, they used the ball to take control of the entire match and make life extremely difficult for France. Every pass had a purpose. Every movement pulled players out of position and closed down the spaces France wanted to attack. Their possession wasn't a safety net. It became their biggest weapon. At the heart of it all was Rodri.
And Mbappe! Star!
And his influence was impossible to miss. He seemed to be involved in every important moment, breaking up France's attacks before they could build any momentum. He controlled the tempo, forcing France to play at Spain's rhythm instead of their own. Time after time, he won key battles in midfield and delivered sharp passes through tight spaces that opened the game up. He was the engine that kept Spain running and the player who made the entire system click. France struggled to get anything going because Rodri always seemed to be in the right place. Even when they managed to win the ball back, he was already waiting to break up the next move. His positioning and awareness made it incredibly difficult for France to build any rhythm or confidence. Fabian Ruiz handled the other side of the job perfectly. If Rodri was the brain of the midfield, Ruiz was the energy that kept everything moving. He never stopped running, carried the ball forward at the right moments, and helped Spain control the middle of the pitch. Rabiot and Tchouaméni found it extremely difficult to leave their mark because Spain's midfield stayed one step ahead throughout the match. Then came Spain's defense. And this was where they showed just how complete they were. Laporte and Kubarsi formed a rock-solid partnership that kept Mbappe under constant pressure. Whenever he tried to sprint in behind, a defender was ready. Whenever he dropped deeper to receive the ball, Rodri or Fabian Ruiz closed him down almost immediately. Spain's offside trap was outstanding. It wasn't risky or desperate. It was carefully timed, well-organized, and executed with total confidence. They knew exactly when to step forward, when to hold their line, and when to drop back. That discipline gave France's world-class attackers almost no room to create dangerous chances. Cucurella on the left and Porro on the right had two massive responsibilities, and they delivered on both from the first minute. They tracked back with non-stop effort, refusing to give France's wingers any easy opportunities. Whether it was Dembélé, Barcola, or anyone else charging forward, they stayed alert and matched every run. But they didn't stop there. They also pushed up the pitch to provide width and support the attack whenever Spain moved forward. They weren't playing like defensive fullbacks. They looked like complete players performing at the highest level. That's what made Spain's performance so impressive. This wasn't a team hanging on under pressure or defending deep and hoping for the best. They were the ones controlling the match. Spain dictated where the game was played, when to speed things up, and when to slow everything down. France spent most of the match reacting instead of taking control, and by the time they tried to change the momentum, Spain had already taken over. The biggest momentum shift came in the 22nd minute. Lamine Yamal, just 19 years old, showed the calmness that sets special young players apart. A loose ball dropped inside the penalty area, and Lucas Digne rushed to clear it as quickly as possible. In that split second, he reacted under pressure without checking what was happening around him, and Spain was ready to take advantage. Digne didn't have time to see who was around him. He simply swung his leg, hoping to clear the danger as fast as possible. But Lamine Yamal had already read the situation. He placed his body perfectly between Digne and the ball, anticipating exactly what would happen next. Instead of forcing a challenge for possession, he used smart positioning, drew the contact, and went down. It was a clever piece of awareness under pressure. The referee pointed straight to the penalty spot without any hesitation. It was a clear decision. That level of composure and game awareness from a 19-year-old is what makes special young players stand out. It's not only about speed or fancy skills, it's about reading the play before everyone else and making the right decision at exactly the right moment. Mikel Oyarzabal stepped up with complete confidence and calmly placed the penalty into the right corner. No long run-up, no hesitation, just a clean and composed finish. Spain led 1-0, and from that moment, the match changed dramatically. France didn't suddenly become a poor team. They simply found themselves in a situation they hadn't dealt with throughout the tournament. Their approach had often relied on getting an early lead, then using their defensive shape and quick transitions to stay in control. But trailing against a team like Spain is a completely different challenge. Spain kept possession, slowed the game when it suited them, and forced France to spend long stretches chasing the ball. That control made it incredibly difficult for France to build momentum or play the fast, direct football that had brought them so much success earlier in the competition. France pushed higher up the pitch and tried to increase the pressure, but it changed very little. Spain stayed calm, kept the ball moving, and refused to give France the openings they were searching for. Every pass had a purpose. Every movement created another passing option, and France kept chasing without finding a way through. That's the danger for teams that depend heavily on quick counterattacks and moments of individual brilliance. If they fall behind against a side that controls possession so well, getting back into the game becomes an enormous challenge. The decisive moment arrived in the 58th minute. Dani Olmo collected the ball on the right and exchanged a perfectly timed 1-2 with Pedro Porro. There was no hesitation and no wasted touch, just quick thinking and sharp movement. Porro continued his run into the penalty area, met the return pass perfectly, and calmly finished past Mike Maignan to double Spain's lead. At 2-0, Spain had one hand firmly on the match. What followed was difficult for France. Despite all their attacking talent, they didn't register a shot on target until the 81st minute. Think about that for a second. A team that had been creating chances and scoring freely throughout the tournament struggled for more than 80 minutes to seriously test Spain's defense. That showed just how organized and disciplined Spain were from start to finish. France looked to their bench for a spark, but nothing really changed. Rayan Cherki attempted a few ambitious passes, yet they couldn't unlock Spain's defense. Désiré Doué showed flashes of promise, but couldn't turn them into clear chances. Dembélé had only brief moments of influence and didn't become a consistent threat until the closing stages. Meanwhile, Spain stayed completely in control, calmly moving the ball, controlling the pace, and forcing France to keep chasing without finding many answers. The match statistics backed up what everyone was watching. France finished with an expected goals total of under 1, an unusually low figure for a team known for creating dangerous attacking opportunities. Against one of the strongest attacking squads in world football, Spain limited clear chances from players like Mbappe, Dembélé, and Olise with remarkable discipline and organization. This wasn't simply a case of France having an off day. Spain earned this performance through smart tactics, outstanding teamwork, and excellent preparation. They showed that individual brilliance, no matter how impressive, can be limited by a well-organized system. With disciplined defending, control in midfield, and a coach who understood exactly how to reduce France's biggest strengths, Spain turned a match many expected to be close into a convincing statement victory. Spain have now defeated France 3 straight times in major competitions: the Euros, the Nations League, and now the World Cup semifinal. At this point, it's hard to dismiss that as a coincidence. It reflects a team that has consistently found ways to outperform one of its biggest rivals on the biggest stages. Their defensive record has been just as impressive. Spain have conceded only 1 goal during the entire tournament. That kind of consistency comes from a complete team built on discipline, teamwork, and a clear system. Not just moments of individual brilliance. Luis de la Fuente's biggest decisions have paid off in a huge way. His trust in Unai Simon, his faith in Fabian Ruiz, and the bold choices he made throughout the tournament have all been rewarded. On one of football's biggest stages, his tactical approach gave Spain the edge and helped his team deliver a performance that will be talked about for a long time. Now, Spain are heading to the World Cup final looking like genuine favorites, not simply because of individual stars, but because they have built one of the most complete and organized teams in the competition. They play with discipline, confidence, hunger, and a clear identity. This victory wasn't just about beating France. It showed how teamwork, smart tactics, and total commitment can overcome even the strongest opponents when everything comes together. If Spain can produce another performance like this in the final, they'll have every reason to believe the World Cup trophy is within reach. What do you think? Can Spain finish the job and become world champions? Or will their final opponent find a way to stop them? Let us know your prediction in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your fellow football fans, and turn on notifications so you never miss another big football story.